Hello, dopey bollocks. Now that is double naughty.
Okay, enough of that rubbish. Let's get on with the pod. Hello, everybody. We're back with episode 2. How surprising. We are in it for the long haul after all. Anyway, some exciting news. We've got a sponsor. And our sponsor is...
Come on, who are you then?
Ronnie Pickering!
Who?
Ronnie Pickering!
Who?
Ronnie Pickering!
Who the fuck's that?
Yeah, me!
Actually, no. Though I like Ronnie Pickering very much. He's my sort of guy. I'm going to go with Gooners versus Cancer. Now, it's a great charity. It's been actioned by Mike and Andy from the Gooners podcast. It's a great charity. Obviously, quite self-explanatory what it's all about, really, with regards to the title. But there's some great things going on with that. They're really pushing it this season. It goes to a great cause. And if you go to gooneroption.com, there is a site where you can bid on some really exciting stuff, some great Arsenal memorabilia. Have a listen to the Gooners podcast, the latest edition. They talk about it in great depth. There's a lot of great stuff on there. And I think, if you're really lucky, you might even get Danny from a Bergkamp Wonderland's sock from the 1993 season, I believe. If that doesn't tempt you there, I don't know what will, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, have a look at goonersversuscancer.com. Pledge as much as you can. Mike and Andy are going to be doing some very crazy stuff, or willing to do some very crazy stuff to raise some money. And yeah, I think that's the best possible sponsor for this show for the time being, at least. So yeah, really want to push that hard. Thank you for your help as far as that's concerned, listeners. So I mentioned last week that there's an email address that you can use to get in contact with the show. That is from dialsquaretoware@gmail.com. If you'd like to suggest anything that you want me to talk about on the show, if you've got any questions, any feedback, that'd be fantastic if you send it there. I'm also now managed to get the correct software where I can get these podcasts put onto YouTube, so they'll be on YouTube as well as all the other podcast channels and platforms. If you'd like to perhaps maybe see some live shows on YouTube, if you can send me a message, and that'd be great. And I'm looking forward to sort of getting some fresh ideas, really, for the podcast coming soon. So if you'd like to suggest anything that you'd like me to talk about, like any kind of special features on the podcast, then please feel free to get in touch. So once again, it's from dialsquaretoware@gmail.com. One big real bugbear of mine on Twitter is all the Mesut Ozil fanboys. They just do not let go. Now, I thought they were trickling away slowly but surely over this summer after last season's performance, and especially the way he performed in the final game of the season, in the final, and his sort of actions after he got taken off. My God, like a petulant child. But they're still out there. One such fanboy calls himself Mesut Ozil 10, and it's at We Are Ozil. And he said, and I quote, "Mesut Ozil is the man who brought us the Adidas deal, and imagine wanting him out of the club," with 2 laughing emojis. I mean, seriously. I mean, do they really, honestly, get down to that level? I mean, like Adidas, I know they do sponsor him, but if they're going to give a £60 million a season deal to Arsenal purely on the basis of a 30-year-old footballer who clearly just doesn't even like football anymore. I mean, it's just nonsense. I mean, like that works out. Say it's a 5-year deal. I think it might actually even be a 6-year deal we've got with Adidas. So say it's a 5-year deal. That's £300 million that they're putting into the club. And they think it's just because of one player who literally produced nothing this season, and he produced nothing the season before. And in my opinion, really, and all the time he's been with Arsenal, you could probably count maybe on your hands, both hands and both feet, if you include all your little pinkies, the amount of amazing games that he's had for Arsenal in, I think it's 6 years he's been with the club now. It's been a complete and utter disaster of a deal. We're stuck with him. No one is going to buy him. I've heard talk of Fenerbahce being interested, but is he really going to leave when he's on a 350 grand a week deal with Arsenal, and he's not really got his heart in football anymore, as far as I'm concerned? I mean, I don't know exactly how long it's been, but he's a Muslim. He's Ozil, I don't know, but he seems to be very much focused on that and politics more than anything at the moment. I genuinely just think that football is not something that he's interested in anymore. He's achieved everything he wanted to achieve in football. After winning the World Cup, I do remember him putting out a tweet after winning the World Cup saying words to the effect that he's achieved everything he can do within football, and it's not his be-all and end-all anymore. And he's just showing that on the pitch, and I just cannot believe that these people still back him so much. I mean, some of them must be purely there just to wind the rest of us Arsenal fans up, but I mean, tweets like that really just take the biscuit. I mean, come on, sort your lives out, son.
Mind the gap. Mind the gap.
So, as some of you probably know, I had a petition going since the sort of back end of last season about Stan Kroenke. I'm not going to go on about it too long, but it's get KSC out of Arsenal. And I'm sure you've probably seen the link coming round on Twitter. If not, have a good look for it. I'll put it onto my page at From Dial Square. And it's just wanted to point out that it's not specifically about the lack of transfer funds, believe it or not. I know he's not put any money into the club, but I'm actually, believe it or not, all for being sort of self-sufficient, because I think there's trouble ahead really for football in this country, and might go into that in a bit. But the main problem I've got with Stan Kroenke's ownership of the club is that he just doesn't care, and he's got no ambition for the team whatsoever. Now, a little bit of a push on, especially this season, I think it's such a big season coming up, because I genuinely think that with a few really good, carefully chosen additions to the team, that we could get into the top four in this coming season, because I genuinely don't think that Tottenham will be as good this coming season. Chelsea it could go one or two ways of Chelsea, but I don't think they're going to be really setting the world alight under Frank Lampard next season. I really don't. Man United are a car crash waiting to happen still, under the tutelage of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the wheel. Give me a break. So I really do think that if we get our act together, then we've got a really good chance. And the lack of ambition is just really desperate really at Arsenal. And I just want our great club back, and I want our ambition back. I want us to walk out into any stadium we go to, home and away, with our chest pumped out high, with cannons on our chest, and saying, "You have got to beat us today, because we are Arsenal." And there's none of that anymore. None of it. I really miss it. I really do. I want that back. I want to get the love of the club back for everyone. And I want us to be proud to be Arsenal fans. I want all the players to be really proud to be Arsenal players. And that's why I'm glad that we're bringing up a few of the academy players into the first team. That's really promising. I think we need a couple more of them, to be honest with you. But it's a really good start getting those four youngsters into the first team squad. They know what it's like to be Arsenal. They will play for the badge. They've been at the club since they were kids, and they all know each other really, really well. So a lot of good team strength and camaraderie there. It's bound to be. We could do a lot more with that, but I'll leave that there for now. But yeah, I'm just clinging on to the vain hope that since Stan has put Josh Kroenke in charge, I believe he's fully moved over here to this country, and I just hope to God that he's got his head screwed on right, and that he can eventually just fall in love with the club like the rest of us. I really do. I think that's the only hope at the moment. But the Kroenke out protest has started to get noticed. It is in the press. Find that petition, get it signed, and pass it on to your friends, because I'm not expecting a petition, like I've said before on Twitter 100 times. I'm not expecting the petition to get Craic out of our club. Let me put that straight. What it does do, though, is that it can create a group of like-minded fans who want our club back, who want change, and that will, if done right, and if we can get the numbers to sign this petition, create that massive group. And then that massive group can start stamping its feet, and those that stamp their feet hardest and loudest get heard first. And that is what we need to do. So if we can get this noise going, gather on board a lot of the Gooners from around the world. You know, I love the all our American Gooner friends, and if we can get all of the American Gooners on board, and then move all the way around the world, we can get thousands and thousands signing this petition, and then we can get heard. But we also do need to start doing something else as well further down the line. Now, I know it's a really difficult thing to not go and watch your club. I can't say that any for myself personally. I can't put that down because I can't afford to go anymore. Now, I used to be a season ticket holder for many years at Highbury, and up until 1998, I think it was, and then I gave my season ticket up because I left the country for a couple of years. I was lucky enough to go backpacking around the world, and I lived abroad as well in Sweden for just over a year. So I gave up my season ticket, and then when I came back to the UK, I had to sort of pretty much start again. And that's when I first came up to the Midlands, Birmingham originally, and I've been in the Midlands ever since. Met my my ex, had the 3 children with her, married, met someone else, and I ended up in Hinckley, and for that I'm forever grateful for, because I've got a beautiful new partner now. As you know, you met her last week. We'll say hello to her soon, but my whole point is that since I've got my 3 children up here now, and you know, I'm trying to make ends meet as a dad, and in this day and age, being self-employed, it's really, really tough, and I just can't afford to get a season ticket anymore down to at the Emirates. It's too full of tourists, unfortunately, to be able to sort of do well like I used to do as well. Before I got my Highbury season ticket, you used to just turn up and pay at the turnstiles rather. You can't do that no more. So I get to as many games as I can with my boys, and very proud and pleased to say that my three boys are all Gooners, age 7, 12 and 13, and they're always going on at me saying, Dad, I really want to go and see Arsenal. And I feel like crying when they say that. I feel like a bad parent, but it's a few £100 to go and see a match for all four of us. And if you include everything that you have to buy when you're down there, food and drink, you can't take all that sort of stuff into the ground, so you have to buy it when you're there. And just travelling, blah, 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 blah. So unfortunately, I can't be one of the people that say I'm not going to go, because I only get to a few games a season now. But the rest of you will have to make up your minds about things like that, and whether you go and buy your shirts and so on and so forth. But the only way you can do it is to stop putting money into his hands initially, I think. I also put a tweet out there this week about one suggestion, that instead of going to see the first team squad, go and see the Arsenal ladies. The way that the women's game has taken off has been actually pretty staggering, really, and we are proud. We should be proud to say that our women's team are the Premier League champions, the Super League champions, the best team in the country. We should be proud of them, and we could go and see them instead. What about even just one or a couple of games a season? Everyone, instead of going to see the Arsenal first team squad in action, turn up and watch the Arsenal ladies instead. Go and see the champions. Go and see how good they are. Go and support them. Give them a massive cheer. Give them a massive crowd to play in front of, and leave the Emirates empty for the men. Even on just one match day. Maybe that's a great idea. Have a think about it. But get behind the petition, pass it on, and let's get thousands of numbers on there, and then we can start making some noise.
I like turtles.
So now it's time for Dawn's Chorus. What a great name, eh? Dawn, say hello.
Oh, hi.
Have you got a jingle?
Not only at the moment,
Sure.
no, but I'm kind of hoping to have one come the next podcast then. Yes, so that's that.
I've kind of put you on the spot there.
Kind of, a little bit.
You don't have to go with Dawn's Chorus. You can come up with something yourself if you want.
Maybe I will, but we'll see. I'll come up with a name, if not Dawn's Chorus, and a jingle.
Okay. Are you going to sing it, or are you going to actually play it?
Yes, if you want me to.
Yeah. Can you produce a dance? Maybe you could put it on YouTube. You never know.
I'm not sure about the dance, maybe, but...
Right, well, tweet number 1 I thought I'd run by you today, by AFC BAM. Excuse me, but I don't remember the Twitter handle, if you like. People moaning about Prince Harry getting 2.5 million getting his gaff done up. I'd be making sure I'd buy a stream of fast cars and top quality brass, all paid for by public money. Well, you have to kind of say I'd agree with that, really. What would you do with £2.5 million worth of taxpayers' money? What do you reckon?
Sex and drugs, gigolos, cocaine, and then probably just waste the rest.
Yes. Well, that's a very good plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll probably do all of the above, and maybe if I've got enough change, I might get a new set of teeth.
We could do like what Scott Mills does, and just like go to Lithuania or wherever it is, couldn't we? And
yeah, or
like, need a new passport.
Kazakhstan or something like that.
Need a new passport when we come back to, because nobody recognises we look that different.
Yeah, and everyone you have to hand out sunglasses because of your teeth.
Teeth would be nice and shiny, your face would be taut and no wrinkles, and we'd look 25 again forever.
Be like Ross and Friends, like glowing in the dark. Or when he has a spray tan. I'm an 8! Remember that
You
one?
are an 8. No. Because every time you say Ross from Friends, I always think about the one where he's pasty.
Oh yeah. He's turned into a paste. He's stuck in his leather trousers.
Yeah, with talcum powder and sweat. Lovely.
Throws up Joey, that's well funny. Yeah, I think I would probably, mind you, I don't know whether I'd buy a stream of fast cars. I might just get a nice van.
Yeah. I'd definitely have my boobs chopped off. Well, not actually just chopped off, but just made smaller.
Well, yeah, I might have to get my cock made a bit smaller, to be perfectly honest. Keep tripping up over it.
We have to keep that bit in.
Yes, I think we will, yes. Goonagal, 26, she said, a friend said the best piece of advice that her friend got was marry a woman with small hands because it makes your cock look massive. I think that's a good bit of advice. Can you think of any good bit of advice you've had in your life?
Nothing quite as what's the word is that?
Graphic.
Yeah, it's graphic, but useful. Nothing quite as useful as that, I don't think.
No.
My mum always used to say, and I say this to everybody, if you want something doing, do it yourself, because at least then you know it's done the right way and how you want it doing. What was that? What did I think earlier?
Never whack your tadger with stinging nettles. That's a good
Well,
one.
yes, that's always a good one. Why on earth you'd want to do that anyway? I'm not quite too sure, but...
Don't get stung by bees. That's always a good one.
Don't put your finger on the end of that was always a good one, but then you still
Yeah.
always had to put your finger.
Don't stick your finger in the line plug socket.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I did have some good advice once. Well, it wasn't advice. It was a little saying. When I was little and I was like helping do some DIY, and it was left, loose, right, tight.
Oh.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Lucy left and righty tighty.
I was a bit shit with me. No, well, I say I was a bit shit with me left and right, so probably.
I still
I know
am.
you are. You're wrong, man. You have to remember that one.
Yeah.
So when you turn in a screw to the left,
That's
it's
good.
loosening it, right, tightening it.
Yeah.
Same with a tap. You didn't know that, did you?
Of course I did, because I know which way I have to have my switch on my drill for undoing and doing up. So.
Did you know that the takeaway, the silver foil takeaway trays that you get from the Chinky, actually unfold into being a plate?
I know, because the same as the... Yes, because the macaroni cheese things that you put in the oven, when they've got like little wrinkly corner things, you can open them all out, push them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just eat it out of the thing, So.
But did you know about the Happy Meals boxes at McDonald's?
Yes, you tear the top bit off. And
Oh yeah, but that's only because I showed you that, didn't I? In Spain.
I do have my own child as well, you know.
Yeah, no, but you can't eat McDonald's.
Not anymore, we can't, but he has done.
Yeah, but it was years ago. Oh well. I thought I'd shown you actually one thing that was useful to you in your life. Obviously not. Oh well. Move on then.
Move on, yeah, move on.
Right, Paul Donahoe, 74, retweeted a tweet by Anthony Cox, who is Ant Cox Cox. I wonder if he's got a cock the size of an ant's.
I know an Anthony Cox.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Oh, right.
I wonder if it's the same Anthony Cox.
Anthony Cox tweeted that there is a rumour going round that after Brexit...
Well, if it ever finally happens...
Well, exactly, yeah. After Brexit, we're going to have food rations because there's going to be food shortages.
dear.
Paul Donahoe pretty much sort of summed it up when he said, utter bollocks.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, oh God, it's just like the Millennium
Does
Bug all
everybody
over
think
again.
that yes, exactly. Does
It's
everybody
so
think the world's going to crumble and, well, England's going to crumble and...
Yeah, all of the farms are going to suddenly disappear. We're not going to grow our own food anymore, and all the animals that we eat are going to die and just fall over, and they're going to be riddled with disease, so we can't eat them either. And we're all going to be in a wasteland of tumbleweeds, and I'm going to have to send the kids off for a 30-mile round walk to the local water hole in order to bring some water home that we can boil to drink.
Oh.
That's what I think is going to happen after Brexit.
Oh.
Actually not, obviously.
No. Yes, it's all very, it's getting very silly, isn't it, really?
Well, nothing's going to happen. What is going to happen after the day after when Brexit, if ever it happens, on Halloween?
Is that when it's supposed to happen, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, no, it was supposed to happen about a year ago,
Oh,
wasn't
no,
it?
it was, well, March, wasn't it? But...
Yeah, well, March last year, wasn't it?
No, this year.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
Oh, well, whatever. It seems like fucking ages ago. Anyway, it's supposed to happen ages ago. So, when we wake up on November the 1st, if it happens on time, what's going to change? Eh?
Sorry.
What's going to actually change? Nothing. Fuck all. That's what's going to change.
Okay. Well, yes. Well, I have to get my...
Like the millennium bug all over
we'll
again.
have to go out hunting.
Yeah,
Maybe.
actually, well, maybe we can just pretend that something's happened, and we can like pretend that there's a zombie apocalypse, and we can arm ourselves and put planks all over the windows, go and sharpen some big.
I've got an axe in the garage. I'll go out and start axing people.
Yeah, we can just put them through their heads and say, look, we just thought the zombies would come over from.
We are surviving
Europe.
now.
Yeah.
It's just us. We're just on our own.
Now fuck off. About your business, please.
We've grown our own veg and we've even got a sheep. Now fuck off.
Yeah, like the good life. I think we should. I think we'll probably get away with it as well. And just say, well, all this media stuff has made us go completely berserk. And we thought we'd just have to go around killing people just to eat them. Because there's a food shortage, you know. I'm reading the rationing books. And I ain't starting on the dogs. I'm going to start on all the neighbours and everyone else in the whole town before anything else.
Not all of the neighbours, just maybe one side, maybe first.
Oh no, they'll probably taste too tough.
Probably.
No, I don't fancy eating that flesh. Anyway, let's move on from that one. So we've got to go on to then finally the biggest story on Twitter. Not only this week, probably, maybe forever. Who knows?
What? This is the biggest story?
Ever, I reckon.
I don't think so.
Daniel Sturridge's dog.
Oh. Well, until you just told me, I never even knew who Daniel Sturridge was, so...
He's a good footballer. Been released by Liverpool at the end of his contract. He's over in LA now, as you do.
Right.
And he's got
Has he played for England, or...?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's a really good player. His contract's ended, so he's just left. I'd actually quite like Arsenal to have him as a backup, but that's another story. I mean, because he's free.
Oh.
And we haven't got much money at the moment. Anyway, yeah, his dog got... Someone broke into his house and stole his dog.
I'd go crazy.
It's a little tiny...
Pomeranian, didn't you say?
Pomeranian, yeah, that's it. Like a pom-pom dog you put in your handbag. But yeah, really cute little doggy. But yeah, it's went missing. He put an impassioned plea onto Twitter, pleading for his dog back, saying money's no object. He wants the dog found. Yeah, it's all over the place. It's on all the news and everything. But the good news is today that it seems that he's been found.
Fantastic. I'm really pleased about
Doesn't think that the person that handed it in is the one that stole it. But either way, he's got it
his
back.
mate up for a bit of cash then, or...
Possibly, yeah. He's obviously a rich footballer, and it was all over the news over there. But it's all over, thank goodness, for Daniel Sturridge. Have you ever had any of your doggies gone missing before?
No, they've never gone missing. They've escaped out the front door and they've chased them down the road. In fact, having said that, we actually thought little Candy had gone missing one day. She was round at my mum and dad's.
Just we have to tell, just for the sake of the listeners, what the three doggies are and what they're called.
The three doggies. They're Candy. She's the little Yorkshire Terrierist. Oh, she's the oldest, the smelliest, the loudest. She's licking the sofa at the minute. Then there's Rusty, who is beautiful, my little Rusty Nuts, or yeah, he would if he had some nuts. But he's the biggest, fattest, hairiest Jack Russell you've ever seen. But he is an actual Jack Russell, Parsons, half Parsons. And then there's my little Stanley Pickles, who is a Shih Tzu crossed with a pug, and he's the most beautiful, sweetest little boy. He is my favourite. The others don't know that, but...
Shug. He's a shug. No, he's a shug, a pug and a Shih Tzu.
Or a shit pug.
Well, no, he's
Well,
not a shit
he's
pug,
not
is
shit
he?
at all, no.
He's beautiful.
Well, anyway, yes. The dogs were around and my mum's being looked after. I was at work. My mum, she let them out for a week. Then she went out. Then she come back and she rang me at work in a panic saying, I can't find Candy. And I said, well, what do you mean you can't find her? She said, well, I let them all out for a week before I went out. Then when I come back. So anyway, I raced home from work to go and look for her. Couldn't find her, hunted, went all down the back of the train line, walked all the way along, like the whole length of from Brookside, from one end to the train station, to the bridge up by Queen's Road.
Did you do an impassioned plea on Twitter?
No, I didn't know.
No, okay. Did you offer
however,
all
no.
money's no object?
No.
Oh.
We found her. When I got back home, she kind of poked her head up from the sofa and she kind of buried herself down the actual back of the sofa and under the cushions and under the things, and there she was with the little head going, yeah, here we are, you wankers.
Oh, that's good. Well, at least you didn't have to go on the US News or anything like the Fox Network. Or...
No, I didn't know.
No, that's always a good
I did
thing.
find a little dog. He was called, what was that little dog called? He looked a bit like Rusty, actually. It was literally from round the corner. And Ralph, he was called.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes.
Ralph Mouth.
Yes.
From Happy Days.
To take him down the vets, and then I put a plea on Facebook. That's about the only social type thing.
Yeah. They probably didn't quite need the SWAT team and all the helicopters at that point, maybe.
Probably not. Is that what you're saying that happened to old Daniel Sturridge's?
No, I don't think they do that for a Pomeranian, maybe. But
maybe. If when he
I'm
was
sure
no
he's in-
object and that's what he wanted, I'm sure they could get some helicopters up there.
Well, at least he got CNN on the case. That's not too bad.
Well, no, I suppose not. No.
I'm sure he didn't get that for little Canders.
No.
Well, for next week then, if you'll try and come up with some kind of jingle
Yes, I can do that.
and a name, if you don't like Dawn's chorus.
I do actually quite like Dawn's chorus.
The Crack of Dawn.
Well, yeah.
Actually, the crack, as in C-R-A-I-K, as in the Irish form of crack.
The bloody Irish
Crack of Dawn.
The Craic of Dawn.
That's good. Actually, that's better.
Craic of Dawn.
I think we'll stick with that one.
All right.
You can do the jingle though.
Okay.
Okay.
As long
well-
as I can do it in my lovely Irish accent.
Oh, yeah, that's bring out Irish Brenda so you can.
Irish Brenda.
Ah, yes. Okay, well, we'll see you next week then.
Yes, and I shall introduce you to Brenda as well then. Bye-bye.
Oh, my God, no. We'll end the podcast here. So, that's the end of episode 2 of From Dial Square to Where. Hope you enjoyed it. Please share with your friends and family and all other fellow Gooners of the Gooner family across the globe. So I look forward to speaking with you soon. So if you're listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe and click the little bell so you get notified whenever a new episode comes up. And please follow us on all of the other podcast platforms. So speak to you again soon. Say goodbye, Crack of Dawn.
Goodbye.